What's going on there, guys? We back with another one. We got to talk about this blockbuster trade between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the New York Knicks and Chris Broussard's reaction to it. Now, um, Karl Anthony Towns headed to New York Knicks, and he's from Jersey. You got uh, Julius Randle and Donte DiVincenzo headed to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I look at Minnesota and I say, man, Donte DiVincenzo, he's going to be big time off that bench. And some of the times where they were struggling shooting in that Dallas series, someone like Donte can get going and drop 25, 30 points in a game where you really need it. Julius Randle, when he plays by the rim, he is a force, but sometimes he drifts too much. And so it just depends, which Julius Randle in the postseason shows up. But that could really help that team with those two players, and Knicks fans, I know they're sad about parting with Julius Randle, much, much more sadder parting with Donte DiVincenzo just because of the recency of that playoff run and some of the things he was able to do and how tough he was as a player and competitor. You know what I'm saying? So I hated to kind of see him go from that roster too. But they did bring in Cat. And I'm going to talk more about that lineup after we watch this video. Let's listen to what Chris had to say.
Oh, my. The Knicks. Oh, my. Karl Anthony Towns. I like it. I like it. Remember, Tom Thibodeau coached Towns, obviously, in Minnesota. So for Tibbs to want Cat in New York means obviously Tibbs vibed with Cat and thinks he is just what the doctor ordered. And certainly he has the talent. The dude is nice. And in fact, some of his best years, you could argue his best seasons in the NBA came under Tom Thibodeau. He was having seasons of 25 points a game. Rebounding-wise, that's the best Cat we've ever seen. 12 boards a game in certain seasons when he played with Tibbs. And so that tells me that Tibbs, is going to make him tougher. Cat is not I'm not going to say he's soft. He's a great player. But, he can have soft tendencies, on the court. But I think with Tibbs made him tougher. And you saw it in his rebounding numbers. And just being on that team with Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart and guys like that, OG Anunoby, like that's a tough team. And Cat's going to be a little bit grittier, I think. So you might see him rebounding more, but you obviously want to allow him to shoot the three and do his thing on the perimeter, but maybe a little inside and tougher more as well. Look, the Knicks got something going, man. I already, before the trade, felt like they were probably going to be Boston's biggest challenger in the East. I think on paper, Philly is awesome. I'm not sure I can trust Joel Embiid because he's going to be great in the regular season. And Paul George, you don't get a better third option than Paul George because Tyrese Maxey being the second option. So Philly, and they got some nice role players they filled in around them. They're going to be nice on paper. But what will Embiid be like in the playoffs? Will he be healthy, number one? And if he is healthy, will he be, close to 100% healthy? Or is he going to be 75%, 80%, sore knee, struggling, up and down the court and, all that? Like, we never see him at his best in the playoffs. And so that's my question about Philly. But the Knicks, I like it. Now, it's going to be interesting because they're going to have to play a different way. And this was going to be the case even before the trade. In the playoffs, when Jalen Brunson was phenomenal and led them deep on a deep run, it was all Jalen all the time and everybody filling in around him. Now, it's going to have to be more of an equal opportunity offense, I think, because Jalen's going to do his thing and is a big-time scorer. So is Cat. So he's going to need the rock. I don't mean they're not ball dominant, but Cat's you want him to get going and give you 20 plus as well. Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, the dirty work. And Mikal Bridges, phenomenal defender, palms up, all that. Defensive, and can give you 20 a night if you need it. So Tibbs, it's going to be interesting, and the key is how does he put this team together? And how do they run the offense? How do they should be an offense where everybody's touching that rock. Everybody's getting involved. And the hot man, the open man, is the one that shines. It should not be a ball-dominant offense for Jalen. And that's no offense to him, no shade to him. He's awesome. But what's best for this team is for it to be an equal opportunity offense. Man, the Knicks going to be nice. The East is going to be interesting for sure. Because Boston ain't going nowhere. Jalen and Jason got chips on their shoulders. Philly, intriguing. Lovable on paper. And the Knicks now. And then don't forget about Milwaukee. You know Dame Doll. I know he's getting up there in age. But you know he's like, man, they done forgot about me. They think I can't do it. And they traded Drew to Boston, and he went and got a ring with them. Got one with my team, too. So Dame should be inspired. Man, I know we in NFL. Y'all see me on TV, First Things First, talking NFL. But you know the NBA is in a brother's heart. I had to weigh in. The Timberwolves, it's all right. Sorry, I mean, Cat, you know, he disappeared at times for them. He didn't disappear like Julius Randle in the playoffs. Julius Randle, that's been his challenge. You give it to me in the postseason, bro. But you know, I'm not counting him out. It's Ant's team. Naz Reid's gonna have to step up. They added depth. You got Donte DiVincenzo. Randle can play. Randle's a 20 and 10 guy, so he can play. Mike Conley, you know, they're a nice squad. I like it better for the Knicks, but I think the Timberwolves, they got a good coach. They can work it together as well. So, Knicks fans, man, this is the most excited y'all should have been in a long time, man. A long time. So, hopefully it works out for y'all. I ain't a Knicks hater. I know they think that. I'm just a truth teller. All right? And the truth in this is a good deal for y'all. Congratulations.
And thinking back, you know, Tom was Cat's coach, you know, when that whole Jimmy Butler thing, all that was going on. So he already knows this guy and what he likes to do, his tendencies, and where to best use him on the floor to be successful. And I think, you know, Cat playing between the 5 and the 4 position, depending on if Mitchell Robinson's in the game or not at different times. And he's going to be all right. You know, I think he's going to be all right with them. The toughness, the thing is, when he plays physical players, we're going to see how he responds to that. But I think Cat can be really good for this team, keep the floor space. And I don't know, man, I think this is a good matchup. It depends which lineup, you know, are they going to start Jalen Brunson? Are they going to start Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and Cat? Or are they going to go Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Cat, and Mitchell Robinson? You know, that I don't know how they're going to start the games, but they definitely have some options with the lineups that they're going to go with. And I think Jalen Brunson, instead of averaging, you know, what he averaged last year, he can probably dial that average back to like 21, 22 at this point. And, you know, you got Cat, Mikal Bridges. You probably got 3 guys that should be averaging over 20 points a game, you know, with Jalen, Mikal Bridges, and Cat. Then, you know, you got somebody like OG who should average 17 to 18. You should have a lot of people averaging that amount of points on that team. Someone like Deuce McBride is the perfect opportunity to average double figures, you know, for the season, and maybe even low teens, 11, 12, somewhere in there. Josh Hart probably average something like that. Your scoring should be very balanced on this team. Defensively, now you have a 4 and a 5 that can challenge some shots at the rim. This is a fresh start for Cat. Sometimes fresh starts do players really well. And I look at matchups like Kristaps Porzingis, where he can kind of dominate in the paint and knock down shots from the perimeter. A lot of times he's the player that's pulling other rim protectors out. We saw him do that against Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford. But now the Knicks have Cat who can mix it up inside out from the perimeter like that. And, you got that dynamic there with Cat. And so that's going to be something to watch and behold too. Again, I think the Donte loss is pretty substantial, but I think the Knicks can overcome this. Everything's going to be about matchups. And also, this is another thing I wanted to say. We saw with Indiana, even though Julius Randle was hurt, Miles Turner and how he was pulling people out and knocking threes down and all that. Well, now you got Cat to deal with, so that's going to be difficult for him as well. These mismatches that they had, Obi Toppin and those guys being able to step out, being quicker than all the bigs and not really having to defend Precious Achua and Isaiah Hartenstein from the perimeter. That has changed significantly. So I think they switched their roster to match more styles of fights. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, I wish they could have kept Devo in that. But we're going to see, man. Maybe the Knicks ain't even done with their moves. So we just have to wait and see. But they definitely made this one, man. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time. Peace.